Hello everyone, welcome back to our weekly market analysis video with me, Frankie, your market analyst at Markets4U. In today's video, we'll be looking at the key economic events and data releases from October 27th to October 31st, 2025. I've already set up my screen to display the economic calendar from the traders room at Markets4U. I've set the dates from October 27th to October 31st, covering this week's important events in GMT. Please remember to adjust to your respective time zones. Please take note that U.S. government data may be impacted by the shutdown. Tentative events are subject to delay, revision, or cancellation, so please monitor the calendar closely for any updates. Let's dive into this week's events. Monday starts with German IFO business climate data and U.S. Dallas Fed manufacturing index. Tuesday brings German GfK consumer confidence and U.S. Richmond Fed manufacturing index figures. Wednesday features a major day with Australian inflation data, Japanese consumer confidence, the Bank of Canada interest rate decision where rates are expected to be cut to 2.25% from 2.5%, the Federal Reserve interest rate decision with an expected cut to 4% from 4.25%, followed by the Fed press conference. Thursday includes the Bank of Japan interest rate decision, German unemployment and GDP figures, Eurozone unemployment and GDP data, German inflation figures, the ECB interest rate decision, the ECB press conference, and Japanese unemployment and retail sales data. Friday concludes with Australian PPI data, German and Swiss retail sales figures, Eurozone inflation data, US core PCE price index, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, Canadian GDP figures, and US Chicago PMI. This week's key market-moving events will be the Federal Reserve interest rate decision on Wednesday, the Bank of Japan and ECB decisions on Thursday, and the Eurozone inflation and US core PCE data on Friday. These releases should create significant opportunities across major pairs. Now, let's go to the technical analysis. This week, we'll focus on the US dollar against the Japanese yen and the euro against the US dollar, as both instruments face significant central bank decisions and economic data releases. Let's start with the US dollar against the Japanese yen. Looking at the daily chart, the dollar-yen pair is currently trading around 152.87, showing strong bullish momentum. The price is currently moving higher above the 20-day moving average, and the stochastic oscillator is moving higher, entering the overbought area. This technical setup is showing there's still an upward movement potential in the near term. Looking at important levels, the US dollar against the Japanese yen has support at 150.87 and 148.86, while resistance can be found at 154.36 and 156.69. With the Bank of Japan interest rate decision ahead on Thursday, this will be the most significant event for this pair this week. The current bullish momentum could push the pair toward the 154.36 resistance level if the BOJ maintains its dovish stance. Thursday's Japanese retail sales and unemployment data could also provide additional volatility for the yen, especially if the figures show continued weakness in the Japanese economy. Now, let's turn to the euro against the US dollar. On the daily chart, the euro-dollar pair is currently trading around 1.1608, showing signs of a potential reversal. The price has been moving higher from below the 20-day moving average and is now trying to reach above it, but has been rejected at this key level. The stochastic oscillator is trying to cross higher near the oversold area, showing there's a possibility that the euro-dollar will change direction, especially if it is able to break above the 20-day moving average. Looking at key levels, the euro against the US dollar has support at 1.1531 and 1.1459, while resistance stands at 1.1688 and 1.1765. Thursday's ECB interest rate decision and press conference will be crucial for this pair. The ability to break and hold above the 20-day moving average will be key to confirming a bullish reversal. Additional volatility could come from Friday's Eurozone inflation data and US core PCE figures, both of which are critical inflation indicators for their respective central banks. Both instruments could see considerable volatility this week. Traders should be particularly cautious during Wednesday's Fed decision, Thursday's BOJ and ECB decisions, and Friday's inflation data releases, as these events can cause sudden spikes in volatility and potential gap risks. Remember, always manage your risk carefully and never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's it for this week's analysis. See you in the next video.